I'm going to be showing you how to get started here with ProtonMail totally for free. So basically here the Proton can give you one email address which is totally for free. You can use them to generate your own custom email. So basically what I'm going to be doing here is to get started with my Proton account. So to do this process, of course, what I need to do, of course, is to understand why to use the custom domain with the ProtonMail. So if you use your own domain, basically you have your own branding, your own domain name for your professional email address, you have privacy, and you have control. So you can maintain control over your email address and domain. So what you need is a ProtonMail paid plan and a registered domain named from a domain register, for example GoDaddy, Namecheap, or Google Domains. Now I believe Google Domains no longer exists. I believe it's called now Squarespace Domains, so that will be totally optional. In my case, I'm going to be using Namecheap because it's much more faster and easier to purchase domains. So in my case, let's say for example what I'm looking now for gold, I hit for search, and I believe it's a little bit more than 50 or $7. In my case, I found one which is $1, which is really a low price. There's gold.a.com, $4. And here I do have now all of my domains that I have purchased so far. So what I'm going to be doing here is to choose one domain, for example, I don't know, maybe Xana, and I go for managed and advanced DNS. This information will be having access to all my DNS servers, and I'm going to be using this server so I can locate and transfer where I have my domain and where I want it to be sent to. In this case, here into ProtonMail. So what I need to do, of course, is just to leave the advanced DNS as it is, go back into ProtonMail, and start with an actual account. So as you can see, I have here the ProtonMail where I can create an actual new account. Let's go for this name. Now that my account has now been successfully created and generated, I have an actual free ProtonMail, which in my case is this one is appearing here into my ProtonMail, the messages. I'm going to hit into maybe later, next, use this, whatever. Now, here into my upper side, I have the big star at ProtonMail.com. My goal is to have the big star at Xana.store. So for this, I'm going to hit into upgrade. Now when I hit now into upgrade, I choose this for individuals, and I choose for USD, and I go for 1 month. Now the plus version can give you 15 gigabyte storage, 10 email addresses, a limited folder, using your own email domain, ProtonMail, and dark web monitoring. So with this process, what you can do is to choose the option that says select the Mail Plus. There's the family option that we can give you $20 for 2 users and 30 email addresses, which I think is going to be really awesome. Or the businesses where you have the Mail Essentials. So this is a little bit cheaper than the families and gives you 10 email addresses per user. So I'm going to choose for individuals and choose the option that says select the Mail Plus button. If you choose, for example, 12 months, you can save up to $12. So instead of paying more than $50, you have now $47. In this case, I'm going to choose the option that says 1 month. When you choose the option that says 1 month, what you can do now is to choose the option that says the total storage, the email address, the support domains, and the total VPN connection. Once you have finished with all of this process, get into the option that says pay $4.99 now. Once you have now paid the process, what you can do is to go for the option that says settings. And if I focus here into all my settings, inside all the settings on the Proton account, I'm going to focus here into my actual plan. Into my plan, what you can do is to focus into adding your own domains. If you focus in here into the left section that says domain names, here what you can do is to add your own domain. In my case, it's going to be asking me to upgrade to include with Mail Plus, add my cage to all addresses, and much more. So I have the IMAP, SMTP, submissions, forward, domain's name, and so much more. Now, since I already have purchased this process with an application, I'll be showing you this with the other applications so you know how it actually is going to be done. Now, the reason why I'm doing here is because we don't want to spend a lot here into the ProtonMail, but basically the process is exactly the same. So choose here my hosting to choose here to, and I have access here for my Soho email. Now, I can go here for my settings. I select my settings, and inside my settings, I'm going to focus here into my administrator console, exactly just as we did before here into the ProtonMail. Inside my Proton here, I go for my domain. Now, to add my almost new domain, what I need to do is to add my own credentials. So when you have here your own domain purchases and your new plan purchases, you can go here into add domains into the ProtonMail. You see here your domain when you add your domain, and it says of course not verified. So when you click into reviews, it might be asking you to enter your DNS values as a type, host name, value, data points to. It's going to be appearing something like this. So this is an example. It gives you a txt file at and a value data points to. That means that I can go back where I make the purchase of the domain and I can add a new record. In this case, for example, it's asking me to enter a txt record. Host name should be at. So I go here for host name should be at. And the value of this information, ProtonMail verification, blah, 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 blah. And once I have done this process, I'm going to hit now into save my changes and continue. With this in mind, this is how it should be looking. So once you finish with this process, once you have added this record, it might be taking a few minutes to the process to be now successfully done. So we can be adding an email authentication like this. So basically what you need to do is just to make sure that all of this appears as check marks and it has been successfully done. We can add different users, we can add different addresses. All of this can be viewed, for example, from this element. So mail holding status, I'm going to enable this. And I'm going to show you how it actually looks, the email configuration. So basically here is the email configuration of my elements here. So for example, it's going to be asking me to enter an MX information. So record type MX, MX, and MX. So if I go back here into my name chip information, what I need to do is to focus into my domain list. And into my domain list, I'm going to choose, for example, the coolcats.click and add a new record. So in my case, it's going to be asking me for an MX record. So this MX record, in this case, should be at 10soho.com. So let's go for at soho.com and automatically. And I add more and more and more. And once I finish with this process, it should be appearing now. Here, the element of this check mark. So I enable the status and we're good to go. Then I can go back into my dashboard, wait a few minutes until this process has now been successfully done. And once I finish with it, then I can be using now my actual new domain. So in this case, here is. I'm going to click into my profile and you can see that here's my name, Steven, at thecutandcall.store. This process is exactly the same as you can do here into ProtonMail. So I'm so sorry that I'm not using ProtonMail for this particular tutorial, but basically the process is exactly the same. So hopefully this was very useful information for you. If it's not, you don't have to worry about it. You can let us know in the comments below, and we can generate an actual new account and having an actual few funds to generate this ProtonMail and do this properly, so you can know how we can do this inside the ProtonMail. But as I just told you, the process is exactly the same. So what I can suggest you is to purchase a domain that it won't take you a lot of your budget, and we can import this directly here into ProtonMail.